Welcome to the Project Tzitzis broadcast.
So the talisman asked me to speak about the Project Tzitzis, and I'm going to share with you first, perhaps one of the most inspiring Gemaras that I think, and especially I was thinking about today, in this world where we get a constant challenge. And I have good friends of mine, they have an organization called Guard Your Eyes. And it's one of the, I would say, the challenge of this generation. Thousands of people are challenged with Shmiras Anayim, watching your eyes, making sure that we don't look in the wrong place. And there's many different methods that we could protect ourselves with. But here I have the talisman. He has the protection that Chazal already spoke about. What is that protection? So as you guessed, the talis, Tzitzis. There's a Gemara in Maseches Menachos. I have to tell you, interesting, I was by Rabbi Kanievsky Shlita. So I went to share with him that we made a siyum, we finished Maseches Soita. So in his somewhat quizzical and his beautiful smile, he says, Bechina, which means, you ready for a test? So usually I say, I'm not going to take a test by Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky. This I said, yeah. So he goes, Tzitzis. Tzitzis, I'm trying to think, rack my mind. Tzitzis, Yerushalmi Maseches Soita. I couldn't get it. Then I realized, okay, it was maybe a miscommunication, but I felt so much better. He goes, Menachos. I said, Menachos, there's no Yerushalmi in Menachos. Of course he knows that, but it made me feel much better. There was no Tzitzis being tested in Yerushalmi Soita. It was in Menachos. And what was he referring to? So at least I was able to say the daf. Daf Mem Daled in Maseches Menachos. I'm assuming that's what he was referring to. In Maseches Menachos, Chazal tell us that there was once a young man, a yeshiva boy. And this is why I think it's such an incredible chizuk for today's world, that people are struggling, and sometimes I have people that tell me they feel so terrible about themselves. That's the first mistake. Here you have in Chazal, in the time of the Gemara, a yeshiva boy, and he hears about a zoina, a lady that's ready to do averos for people, for money. So here this young man hears about this famous lady, sends her the money, thousands of dollars, thousands of shkalim, whatever it was, and he's ready. There's a date. He travels. He comes to this lady's house. There's a shifcha there. She lets him in. She announces to the mistress, Zaina, that the young man here, the yeshiva, maybe it was also something special, because obviously there's a lady that was visited by many people. But this young yeshiva boy is there. Anyway, she sets up the beds. The Gemara describes there's 6 beds of silver, there's a bed of gold, and there's ladders leading up one to the next, and she's waiting on the top without clothing. He climbs up, he goes, he's without clothing, he's ready to do the Aveira, and then the Gemara says, Tafcha, Tzitzis, hit him in the head, stopped. He goes down from the bed, sits on the floor. She's like stunned. She comes down on the floor, she says, what's going on? And she makes him sweat. See, she says, am I not pretty? She's so insulted, she's devastated. So the yeshiva boy tells her, I swear to you, you're the most beautiful lady in the world. But I have these edus, I have edim, I have these tzitzis. And it stopped me from doing this avera. I can't do it. Anyway, this lady was so inspired. She says, you're not leaving unless you first of all write down your name, your address, your Beis Midrash. That's how you know this was a yeshiva boy. You come to the Beis, and that's, anyway, he leaves. She shows up to the Beis Midrash, to Rabbi Chia's Beis Midrash. So it wasn't a simple guy, it wasn't a regular, it was the Rabbi Chia's Beis Midrash. And she says, I want you to convert me. I want to marry this young man. First he was a little bit suspicious, who knows why, maybe it's because for the wrong reasons. The Mai said, Tosfos Rashi, they'll discuss why it's okay halachically, but at the end of the day, he realizes that she's L'Shem Shamayim. She was so inspired by this young man, she ends up marrying him. And Rabbi Chia, in his great wisdom, tells his student, and he tells her, he says, now those beds that you're using for an Aveira, you're going to use for a mitzvah. The same kelim utensils, this is how you're going to now elevate it. And they got married. And this is the most amazing chizuk for us. Tzitzis is the most amazing protection, Chazal are telling us. It saves a person from everything that people are trying to save themselves from. You got to speak to the talisman.
Project Tzitzis. free tzitzis for anyone who doesn't wear tzitzis and would like to start wearing tzitzis.